Hey YouTube, Papa Del here. Today I wanted to talk about MLB The Show's offline suite, or in other words the single player side of Diamond Dynasty, and how SDS could improve upon it. As fun as Diamond Dynasty is, I really think there's a lot of room for the offline experience to be even better. When you look at the show's offline suite, there really isn't much meat on the bone. Sure, there's moments and showdowns, but neither of those modes allow you to use your Diamond Dynasty squad. The whole point of DD is to build your dream team of legends and current day players and take them onto the field. But that's the biggest issue with the offline experience. You just don't have a lot of interesting ways to do it. The aforementioned moments and showdowns allow you to use a variety of players and cards, but as I said, not your collection or team. In fact, while moments are fine when they're reasonably designed, SDS's over-reliance on moments as content, in my eyes, is almost a detriment because they become a distraction from using your squad. So right off the bat, one addition I'd like to see is the ability to use your collection and your Diamond Dynasty team in moments and showdowns. I personally dislike Showdown as a mode due to the circus-style sliders, the all-or-nothing structure, but I might be more likely to play the mode if I could use my team. Moments would become much more interesting and fun if you can use your team to reach whatever criteria the moment wants. A moment that is highlighting someone's epic game where they hit 3 home runs? Okay, let me use my DD team and try to rack up 3 home runs in a game, or 12 total bases, whatever you want me to do, as opposed to using whatever generic card is going to be in the game, and we know that sometimes those cards just aren't very good. And I know that runs counter to the whole recreate the specific moment and stat line gimmick that moments are, but that very gimmick is what makes moments boring to me. I don't really ever find myself enjoying moments, nor do I feel accomplished. I'm usually relieved and annoyed that I finished them, and oftentimes I don't even want to continue playing the game if I struggled with a particular set of moments. And never mind the fact that if I struggle with a set of moments because the card just isn't very good, it makes me hate that card and that player, and I don't want to use it ever. So working so hard to get that card almost ends up being worthless. But I think having the ability to use our collection as much as possible should be a core goal of DD, and this would be a solid start. Moving on, let's look at how we can use our DD collection specifically. Our only real options are play versus CPU, which is a standard 9-inning game, extra innings, which is a standard 9-inning game against the CPU using an actual human player's DD squad, and conquest, which features 3-inning games, but is tied to an RTS style minigame. At the end of the day, none of these are really that exciting. There are no stakes involved in the 9-inning games. You're just playing the CPU, and while you're gaining affinity and mission progress, that's really it. There's no ultimate reward to chase, no real progress to make, or anything tangible that motivates the player to play these games outside of the various occasions where playing a specific team and beating them nets you player program points. And Conquest has baggage of its own, requiring you to move fans around, capture territories, reinforce borders, and blah blah blah. I really enjoyed Conquest the first couple years I played the show, but now I kind of find myself annoyed and bored by working around the maps. I just want to play my 3-inning games and get going, but I have to bother with that damn map. So one obvious improvement would be removing the map structure, but I just don't know how realistic that is considering the whole point of Conquest is the territory system. We saw something like this last year in the Alzheimer's program though. Moments were set up as 3-inning games against MLB teams, and it was refreshing. Something similar to that would be amazing with rewards or programs designed for that very thing. And that's why I'm here today. If I had anything that I could add to Diamond Dynasty, it would be something called Gauntlet Mode, where instead of messing around with a giant US Conquest map, it's just 9-inning games with your DD team, and you get to play all 30 Major League teams. And in doing so, you would gain rewards along a path very similar to what the BR program added this year, and it would add a ton of hours of gameplay. Let's get a little bit more detailed. Each win gives you points based on the difficulty you choose to play on. If you play on Rookie and win, you get 1 point. Veteran is 2, All-Star 3, Hall of Fame 4, and Legend is 5 points. That alone adds replayability for most people. Maybe you beat all 30 teams on All-Star. Well, there's more points to earn if you go back and beat them on Hall of Fame or Legend. Those points can build towards program rewards just like we already see in the various programs. They can even add stat missions to chase while playing these games that award program points when completed. SDS could do this every month and rotate cards in and out of the program, just like the BR program, and this would add so much value for the offline community by itself. It would give real incentive to play full games with your DD squad, allow you to grind affinity innings and missions along the way, packs, stubs, everything else SDS is already great at handing out. What we really need handed to us is a reason to play. This Gauntlet style mode with rotating monthly rewards would be a huge win for everyone. The offline players get something tangible to do. Online only players get more cards added to the market they can buy, even if they don't want to do the grinding themselves, and SDS gets another avenue to pump cards into the game and really make use of their amazing roster of players. I think even if this was done with 6-inning games, it would be fine, as I can envision some level of backlash if it was 30 9-inning games each month. Hell, make it 3-inning games with the same structure I outlined, and the mode gets even better since there's way less of a time investment. And that's just with the current MLB rosters. You could take something like this to another level when you start introducing legends into the mix. SDS will almost certainly do something with all-time teams this year, and maybe that kind of thing is better kept to a singular program as opposed to a rotating monthly one. Then again, the idea of playing ever-evolving teams each month, seeing the new legends and flashbacks added to each team would only make the mode fresher, and it would be exciting and challenging facing better cards throughout the year, especially better pitchers, and would truly embrace the Gauntlet style name. Imagine every month when the program resets, each CPU team is better because there are better cards on each team representing the all-time teams for those specific squads. As amazing as that sounds to me, something they could add into the game tomorrow that would make the offline experience better is simply CPU stat tracking. It bothers me endlessly that no matter how many Conquest games I play, or CPU games, or whatever, the CPU teams always have 0 stats. There's nothing. Zilch. Nada. Every game is their first game ever played. We get our offline stats tracked, and we can see how we do with our teams across offline games, but the CPU has nothing to show for it. Look at my Tom Glavine, for example. This poor guy has been the starting pitcher in a ton of games that I was chasing missions in and quit out of. Look at that win-loss record. But how cool would it be if this worked with CPU stats too? Maybe this sounds simple and pointless to a lot of you, but to me, it would add a huge layer of depth to these offline games. I don't know about you, but there's certain players and teams that always seem to annoy me and get in the way of easy wins over the CPU. The Padres and A's are 2 teams that just never want to make it easy for me. Players like Trent Grisham, Austin Nola, and Matt Chapman have caused me grief repeatedly, and as annoying as that is while I'm playing, it would be really awesome to go back and see their stats, and I can point out different games where Matt Chapman hit a tying home run or Austin Nola hit a tying home run, and I can see just how annoying they've really been. Stats in baseball are an iconic duo. We know this. So giving the CPU and Diamond Dynasty the ability to have their stats tracked as well would just make the mode feel more complete. Having them represented and tracked for all our offline CPU games would just be a great feature by itself, but if SDS added something like the Gauntlet style mode I suggested with stat tracking, Diamond Dynasty would get a whole lot better. Would you play a Gauntlet style mode like I described? Is there anything you would like to see added to the offline single player experience? Or do you think it's fine the way it is? Maybe you only play online and don't really care about offline. Leave your comments below and maybe like the video or subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll be having more MLB The Show content coming, so keep an eye out if you dig it. Thank you for watching and keep grinding.